Oh. Jana?
Okay, it looks like I'm on 2. Can anybody hear me?
Wait, I can hear you. Jeremiah said he's almost got it. Okay. Okay, we got McKaylee.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Hello?
Oh, I can hear somebody now.
Okay, that's me.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
so it's McKeely?
Okay,
McKaylee,
I don't think
yeah.
Jana can hear me.
I don't know if she can. You're a big boy. Andrew, just start. Jana, can you hear everyone?
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me now? Can you still hear me, Elizabeth?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me see really quick. Who started the video?
I did.
Okay,
Can you
go
hear
over to the side to the control room.
Okay. Where's that?
Are you on a phone or on a computer?
Computer.
Okay, so if you look to the left, there should be an option like there's the blue chat box, the yellow, the green arrow, and then the bottom is the control room.
Can hear me?
Oh, okay.
Because I can't get them to hear me. I've
I can hear
tried,
you.
but oh, you can hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
It
you.
hasn't been working.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Yeah,
I'm
so
in the control room.
see, I can't because I'm not the one that started the video. I can't do it, but sometimes you just have to turn up their volume.
Oh, let me see. Maybe it's
Yeah,
on.
it wasn't working before.
She might just need to
Are
take
you-
her headphones off, though.
I'm outside.
Oh, got it.
Or
Jenna, you got it?
Yes.
sorry, I'm gone now.
Okay, I think I can hear everyone.
Okay.
Jana,
Yes.
can you? Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Awesome.
Okay, and Rachel, you're good too?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, we're just waiting on Jeremiah, but we can. I know he was trying to figure it out, but hopefully he'll join in a minute.
So it's just the 5 of us?
Yeah, I never saw anything from the other two. Or did we just have one more member? I think there was just one member that never responded. So
this it records our whole conversation?
yeah.
It will, but we don't have to post it because this wasn't like required.
Yeah.
Like the video wasn't required. So it just was the only way I think we could get it to work, right?
Yeah, I don't think we could get everyone connected. But yeah, he just said that we needed to indicate that we met, so I think we're good.
That works.
And Jeremiah said that he got the email, but it's not letting him in.
Weird.
Did it work from the first link or the second link?
Mine, I went to, it was the most recent one.
It was the most
Okay.
recent one, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to completely exit out of Hangouts, and because it kept saying I was in the old call and it wouldn't let me leave.
Oh, I see.
Okay. I think it would be a good idea too, though, for us to still answer all the questions. That way we have them like down and we can still study them, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So I have the first three. Sorry, I'm in my car. That's how we do it here. And I had the paradigms / philosophies of science. There's a ton on this one. And so it all because we don't want to be here for 5 hours. So I'll explain the basics, and then if you guys have any questions about it, I'll go over that.
Okay.
But let me see. So sorry, I have it here. So the philosophy of science can be found in the What is a Theory? It was in the preparation activity that I think in lesson 2. I'll send you the details of that. But it's just a big long thing about the philosophy of science, and are basically the positivistic, the interpretive, and the critical philosophies of science. And so there's a big introduction about what the philosophies of science mean, and it just says basically that the philosophies we adopt influence the way we conduct our scientific practice. And so all theorists that are studying the different theories look through a certain lens, whether it's positivistic, interpretive, or critical. And so they have different focuses, and the main difference between the threes is their focus on values. And so in the positivistic view, it's value neutral or value free. And so this means that it's like the most objective one. The people studying from this lens try to not bring in their personal religious or cultural values. And they try to look through at the science through a totally clear lens. So like the exchange theory and the family development theory are under the positivistic view of knowledge, bringing in their personal views. They're just looking at it from an objective lens. And then the interpretive relevant. And so it says that family scientists should become aware of and open about their values. And so they kind of focus more on values, and the critical focuses the most on values and their value laden. And so it's kind of becoming less objective, and the interpretive and critical people really think they need to focus on values, but family scientists have kind of decided that it's they rely a lot on the positivistic view because it's so objective and it's not bringing in personal values. So kind of a rundown of it, so you can let me know if you have any questions. Does anyone have any questions on that while I'm on it? And I'll send you where I found that, like his whole thing on it. That it was just the What is a Theory. It was just an article, I think. And then I also had the Wallace wheel. So if you remember, that was the one that was all about the inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. And so you can find that in lesson 2, and it shows it really well. And the video from the Theories in Family Science presentation the professor of whoever made this video did a really good job of explaining deductive reasoning versus inductive reasoning. But basically, reasoning Let me see where I am here. My notes are everywhere. Okay, so deductive reasoning starts at general and goes to specific. And so if you use the Wallace wheel, deductive reasoning starts at a theory. Sorry, I want to make sure I had it written down here. Don't worry, guys. Things open. Basically, deductive reasoning starts at a theory and then goes through the Wallace wheel to get to research. And so they have the theory, it's something that's established, and they use that to gain a hypothesis and design their research, and then they go to observation, and from there they move on. But inductive reasoning starts at an observation, and then those observations lead to theory construction and to a theory. So, oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. I promise I did have this. Inductive reasoning is just all about how observation leads to a theory. It's all about how the theory leads to observation. And yeah, just following the Wallace wheel helps to see how that does that. Does anyone have any questions about that? Did that make sense?
Made sense.
Yeah, I think what you had made sense.
Okay. And those were basically the 3 that I had. So let me know if you think of any questions throughout the week too, and I can explain them.
Okay, I think I'm next. So I feel bad because I feel like you had the harder questions. But I had Elder Oaks talk on how reason and revelation tie together, and I went back and I read that, and that one's actually kind of a long read. So I'm not going to tell you every detail about it, but it was basically about how as people get more educated, they're starting to leave out revelation, and they're only thinking based off of study and what they can feel with their 5 senses. And so that's why they're starting to say that God doesn't exist anymore. And I'm totally not going to lie to you guys. As I was trying to figure out what to pull from the talk, to tell you guys, I went on Quizlet, and they have some really nice notes taken of the talk, so I would totally use that if I were you guys. Anyways, he gave plenty of examples in the Book of Mormon. Some people believe that the revelation and reason are equal components, and he reminded us that revelation comes from God, and God is always going to be smarter than us. There's a lot of kind of things prophesying that this is what's going to happen in the Book of Mormon. And he gave us near the end this test on how we can, know the truth. But he did say that study is important. He said that, they work hand in hand. You kind of can't have one without the other, but you also got to especially remember Revelation, even though the world tells us not to remember it so much. And then I had the parts of a theory, and I went back and I watched the video that the teacher posted. Oh, I think the teacher posted it. I mean, it was on the BYU page. Anyways, where he talked about the parts of the theory and used why LDS marriages end in less divorce, and what's the theory behind that. So the parts of the theory were assumptions, things that we assume, and for his example, the assumption is something like marriage is an important institution and divorce is generally something negative. Then there's concepts, which is examples where, these are the things like we talk about. For the marriage one, examples were common values, the social support of marriage, divorce rates, how long-term commitment works and ties into this. And then the propositions are kind of your ideas, what you're suggesting, your theory, you're theorizing. And for the marriage one, why LDS marriages don't end in so much divorce, the propositions were as long-term commitment increases, divorce decreases, and also as common values increase, divorce rates decrease. So that one was pretty basic, as far as I'm sure it will get more complicated if you use it for other theories besides marriage. And then the last one was purpose of theory, and the major points of it was that it's a tool to understand and describe what goes on around us, kind of give a meaning to things, us try to figure things out. It creates general framework of ideas. Also, again, how A relates to B, how all of this relates together. And we use it to ask questions and answer questions about certain phenomena. And we can use it as a means to study and just keep furthering our knowledge. So, and I know that was kind of me just barking at you guys, but that's what I got.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess that goes to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are so lucky. Because this is like, I really have a hard time understanding this.
I would go to the Quizlet if I was you. It has like everything summarized really nicely.
So what is it you're saying?
Can you,
Yeah,
can
so
you include that link?
so if you Google Family 400 Quizlet theory, because that's what I did, it was like the first thing that pops up, and they have flashcards for the first exam, I believe. And it's just, everything is very nicely abridged if you
That's
need like
awesome.
a board.
So say it again. It's quiz what?
Quizlet,
Jeremiah. Yes.
Quizlet.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, yeah, Family 400. And then maybe something like theory is like a keyword.
Okay. Well, what I did, I'll look into that. What I came up with for how families are unique, well, they're unique in the aspect that they last considerably longer than other social groups do. They are intergenerational, so they have, from the toddlers down to the elderly. The families contain both biological and common law relationships and members. So, I mean, you can be genetically related, but through marriage and stuff, you also, and the in-laws, there's the relation there. And then also, they said that the biological aspect of family links them to larger kinships and organizations. So, and you can see that with, like family reunions from ancestors or just, your great great grandparents or something. So it's even a bigger generation. So those are some of the unique things about families. They last longer. There's a more stretch in the age group and just the depth they can go back to. So, and then on this, know each theory. And they said the Burr article, so it could be completely off, but it's like on the second page in the Burr article, they said that they listed some general theories used in family science. And they gave 6 different theoretical approaches for this. The first one was the hedonistic theories, and those are the ones that include, you know, your behaviorism and the exchange theory. You have your developmental theories, your humanistic theories, symbolic interactions, family system theory, and the feminist theory. So, and they're listed in that Burr article. Just, it's like on, well, it's actually on it's on like the 5th page. So there are those 6 different kinds, and a little bit about each theory is, let's see. Okay. The hedonistic theories are the ones that just, it refers to those that we tend to seek pleasure over pain. And the assumptions they have in it is that people are influenced by what happens to them in their environment. And so just kind of how they reward pleasure, you know, so I don't know. And then, let's see, what's the next one? The developmental theories basically is that, you know, there's the different stages of life that we go through. Even though we're very unique as individuals and our cultures and stuff can be different, they still, you know, identify specific phases that we go through at different ages of life that, you know, can happen somewhat universally. But again, everybody's unique. But yeah, so that's the developmental one. The humanistic theories, they're the ones that state that humans are innately good and they have a desire to be better and to, you know, to improve. And so those theories do that. And then let's see. And those include, you know, the family theories and stuff I think for that too. The symbolic interaction, they have 3 different assumptions that go with them, and that's that humans live in symbolic environment as well as physical environment. Humans have values, that symbols are important in understanding your behavior, and that humans are reflective. So it's just relating your environment and the things you experience in a symbolic view, which even for us, you know, being Latter-day Saints, going to a religious school, there's so much symbolism just in our daily lives that we experience.
That's gonna go bad, Andrew. It's cheese-based. You gotta eat it fast.
So, and then there's I can't remember which ones I've all covered. Okay, now then there's the family systems theories. So, I guess I didn't cover that. And the family systems is just the different ways that the families interact together. So, let's see. And for the family system theories, they give you the total picture of that. And I don't know. I've missed it. Oh, and then the feminist theory. And that one is just the perspective that it's important to see it from the feminist role. And I don't know. Do you guys have any questions in any of those? I don't know if that was the right, when they said for those theories, if that was the ones they were looking for. But those are the ones I came up with. But in the Burr article, it does list six theories that we tend to use. So that was
Sounds great to me. Sounds like you're very well prepared.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounded good.
Yeah. But it's all in that Burr article if you guys need to read it or just review it for the test. So.
Yeah.
And I think that goes through all of mine. So I don't know, critiques of each theory.
I think that's kind of what you did, kind of explain it all.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's good to know that all the information's in the Burr article, so
yeah,
we'll make sure to know that.
I did go through and list stuff about each one of them, so it's all right there in that paper.
Cool.
I don't think Megan's here, is she?
No, she never responded to the discussion.
Okay.
And then I tried sending an email to her school email, but I never saw anything back. So we'll just skip hers, and then maybe she can email all of us some information about hers.
Okay, awesome. So next would be Jeremiah or Jeremias.
Sorry, I came in late. What are we talking about?
So we're each just sharing about our specific portions of the study guide. So whatever you have to share on yours. I know you said that you came into it late, but
yeah. So I had if I'm not mistaken, the exchange theory, talking about the exchange theory and how family conflict and stuff deal with that. I didn't really get too much on that. I looked into the next lesson. Next week's lesson is going to be about family conflict and stuff. So I don't honestly have too much information on that, but just going through the exchange theory and how it deals with family and I guess just development in general. It's all about how it's about costs and rewards. And if one thing is good for, I guess, well, how somebody will measure if the rewards is worth, I guess, the costs. And it mentions in the book about how one of the ways, or one thing that people do is that when somebody is constantly giving to them, that's then a cost that they don't want to lose, and it's an innate it's an innate thing that humans do, is that they don't want to sacrifice a certain cost for a certain reward, if that makes any sense. Because that person is constantly rewarding you, and getting rid of them or doing something for them that would make them to stop rewarding you would be a cost. It's all confusing, but basically that's my understanding of the exchange theory, and I don't want to assume how it goes into family conflict because I don't want to prepare us for it or say something wrong and prepare us, I guess blasphemous.
Yeah. Well, these last 4 questions are from the readings from this week. So I know I haven't finished all of them yet either, but I think that as the week goes on, we'll be able to study this more and fill in the blanks a little bit more. But do you guys have anything to add to that once you have finished the reading, or are we just going to wait a little bit and kind of do this on the discussion board?
Yeah, I haven't finished all my reading either, so I don't mind doing it on the discussion board.
Okay. I know that I read the Nye's propositions, that page today, and it kind of talks about the assumptions of human beings and kind of just like the basic assumptions that humans are rational, they have actors and reactors, their behavior is based on their past and it changes, and that most of their actions are for profit. They want something out of it. And it has at the bottom like definitions of different exchange propositions. And so it kind of talks about how for positive actions, if there's a positive reaction, they're more likely to do that again. If there's a negative reaction, but it's more of a reaction than it normally gets, they're still going to do that again because they got a reaction. And so it talks about how likely a person is to repeat that action depending on the reaction. So those definitions at the bottom are super good. And when talking about like domestic violence and with families, like a lot of families in the domestic violence, they only get that attention when they are being abused or having that violence. And so that's why a lot of them don't realize the situation that they're in. They're like, oh, well, my parents are giving me attention and stuff like that. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't read all of the readings yet, so I don't know like exactly the cycle of violence, but that's kind of what I got out of the articles. So
Thank you.
Okay.
yeah. But I'm gonna once I finish all the readings, like I'm halfway done, so I'll probably finish them by the end of the day today or tomorrow. So I'll be able to fill in more of the blanks and have all of that done.
Yeah, one of the assignments is about I don't know if you guys looked ahead, but it's on we watch video clips, and you're gonna watch some stuff on the Sandlot. And you guys remember the Sandlot and that scene where Squints kisses the lifeguard?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the example of cost and rewards and the exchange theory and how it works.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So yeah, at the bottom of it's only a 2-page little article. But yeah, it talks about like Squints obviously went back and wanted more because it was a positive reaction, even though it was not something
Yeah.
he wanted to do. Like he wouldn't want to try to drown again, but he got a positive reward from it. So that kind of stuff. I don't know. So that's all I have. Like I said, I don't want to talk about the cycle of violence because I haven't finished reading that yet. I started it, haven't finished.
So is this something we're supposed to email the instructor about, or?
No. So pretty much this was just to help us study and get the study guide going. So I think we should all still post our answers. Like you said that you had more information than we were saying, like definitely post detailed answers on the page.
Okay.
And then that way we can all study off of that. And if we see that there's more information needed, we can add it so that the whole group has information to study. But that way, it really is just supposed to help us with the study guide and prepare for the exam this week. So,
and the exam is due on what day?
I don't know.
Next week is exam.
Oh, it's next week?
Is it due? Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking it's due on the 21st. So.
Oh, lovely. That's even better.
So yeah, we have a good week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can take it sooner, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that we should all just make sure that we're posting our answers, looking through other people's answers. If there's something that we remember that they didn't add, we need to add it so that we all have the most updated and most detailed information to study from. And all that kind of stuff. So, and you want to have anything else to add?
I'm good.
I know. Well, in my past classes, we've done Google Docs rather than. I know it says we need to use a discussion board, but if we all just use a Google Doc, then we can collaboratively just fill out one document instead of going back and forth and replying to each other's discussion board posts.
I started a Google Doc typing down little notes from what you guys were saying. Do you want me to just share this with you guys?
That sounds good, and then we can just join in and add ours.
Okay, yeah. I'll definitely do that.
And then I guess to get the credit, we can just post it on the discussion board and then write their contributions or something.
I don't even know if we need to do that because it really, like it said, just meet together or do something else. Or yeah, like you said, we can post the link to it and just make it a public document. But I'll share this and we'll figure that all out later.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. It was nice meeting you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you. I'll get that out to your emails soon. And good meeting.
Yeah. Thanks for getting it started.
Yeah, not a problem. Have a good night.
Thank you. Sorry it took so long.
No, not a problem.
Well, guys, next day, girl. Bye.
Bye. Bye.